This is day 2 of our exponent rules. So we have completed all of these. If we have a product of power, so this is a little review. If I have a like basis, so see how A to the N and A to the N, or A to the M and A to the N, they have like bases. The bases are A. So if I'm multiplying like bases, then I add my exponents. So make sure to add that if you have not already. If I have A to the M in parentheses and it's raised to another power, this is called power of a power. We are going to multiply our exponents. So write that out to the side. Multiply exponents. It's called power of a power. So we've done some of these, but we haven't finished. So let's look at the ones on the inside. We've done 2 of them. So let's go ahead and do this next one. So this whole thing is being raised to the 3rd power. So what this means is you would have this times itself 3 times. So let's put in parentheses, negative 3ab4, negative 3ab4, negative 3ab4. It's being multiplied times itself 3 times. And like we were doing yesterday, we reorganize it so our like bases are together. So negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. We can use our calculator for that. Negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. Negative 27. Okay, something you got to be careful of. If I'm saying negative 3, there are 3 negative 3s. That means it's negative 3 to the 3rd power. But something you got to be aware of is that it's the all of negative 3 that's being raised to the 3rd power. Whenever I don't have parentheses around it, it changes the meaning. So you got to put it in parentheses like that whenever you put it into the calculator. So put in parentheses, negative 3 raised to the 3rd power. The negatives and exponents, they're really tricky. So that's why you want to keep parentheses around your constant, whatever that number is. All right, now we can deal with the A's. A. How many A's? Yep, so A to the 3rd. B4. Yep. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 4 more is 12. All right, let's do the next one. We can expand it out. 4a squared squared, b3. We need to take care of this first. So that would be 4a squared, b cubed. Because it's squared, so you have 4a squared twice. So now we can look. 4 times 4 is 16. And then a squared times a squared. How many a's will we have then? 4. And then b doesn't have any like terms. So we leave it as just b to the 3rd power. So we did these 2 problems by expanding it out. But whenever it comes to bigger exponents, it's going to be harder to do that. And when we have more and more work. So let's look for the rule. Here's the rule. Power of a product. For all numbers a and b and integer m, we have a, b raised to the m, and then a to the m, b to the m. So it's like we're sending this exponent inside. What does that remind you of? Distributing, yeah. So send exponent inside to all terms. A lot of times people forget about the A and they just send it to the B, but you've got to send it to whatever term is on the inside. I think these exponent problems are fun. Y'all probably won't think the same, but it's fun because it's kind of like a puzzle that you're trying to figure out. So here, let's go ahead and do this one. We're going to send that exponent to the inside. So I'm going to send it to the 3, which means we'll have 3 to the 3rd. Send it to the a squared. What do we do whenever they're on the outside? We have one exponent on the inside, one exponent on the outside. Multiply. So what will it be? A to the 6. And then send the 3 to the 5. Yep. Good job. And then our last thing would be to go ahead and do 3 cubed. Yep. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. And if you don't know, that's okay. You can use your calculator on that. So 27, A6, B15. All right. Let's do this next one. So we're going to send the 3 to the inside. And with exponents, and you have the base that's a negative, keep the number in parentheses. So I'm going to send this to the inside. And so then that's -4 to the 3rd. Parentheses are really important with exponents, especially if your base is a negative. I usually don't do it if the base isn't negative, but if it's negative, I put parentheses around it. And then x to the 3rd. Y to the 3rd. Oh, no. All right, we're going to send the cube to the other. Put in parentheses, -2 to the 3rd. X to the, it's a squared right now. 6, yep. So now we need to find out what this is. Use your calculator. -64. And let's go ahead and put them beside each other. What about this -2 raised to the 3rd? So times -8. Now our x's, x3 and x6. When they have like bases, what do I do to my exponents? Add. So what will it be? x9. And then y doesn't have any partner, so we just write it down. Your last step will be to go ahead and simplify the -64 times the -8. Mm-hmm. 512. And then keep our same variables and exponents. All right, the next one. Ooh, that seems like a lot, right? So thinking back to order of operations, we got to do exponents first. So we're not going to do anything with this -3. We need to send that 4 exponent to the inside. Y'all ready? Send that to the inside. We're going to keep this -3 here. We're just going to carry it down because there are no exponents with it. Then we need to send the 4 exponent to the inside. So that'll be times 2 to the 4th, x to the 4th. And now we have another term that's being raised to the second power, power to the power, times 4 squared. Okay, what about the x? What's it going to be? Yep, x to the 10, because you multiply your exponents. What about y? Y2. Yep. Order of operations says still take care of all the exponents. So we can't do anything with the variables, but with the numbers we can. We can actually multiply 2 to the 4th and 4 squared. Let's carry down the -3 though. Two raised to the 4th power is what? 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. Let's go ahead and do the other number, 4 squared. 4 squared, 16, yeah. Okay, so we have all the numbers. What about the x's? x4 and x10. Yep, x14, y squared. What should I do next? -3 times 16 times 16. Big old number. Oh, I put a negative for some reason. I shouldn't have done that. I should have been positive. There we go. -768. And then my variable exponents stay the same. Okay, I want y'all to do this next one. Check with people at your table if you're done with that one. There's no exponent on the outside, so you don't have to send it in. You just rewrite it. All right, y'all ready? So the first part would be to send this squared to the inside. So it's 2 squared, y squared, x squared, y squared. -3x squared doesn't have an exponent on the outside, so we're just going to rewrite it. The 4y to the 4 doesn't have anything, so we're going to write just 4y4. Now we rearrange it so that all our numbers are together, all our x's and all our y's. So what's 2 squared? So 4 times Negative 3 times 4. X squared and x squared. X squared and x squared make x4. Y2, y4, y6. Now we multiply these together. Negative 48. And then carry the rest of it down. How'd y'all do? Raise your hand if you got it right. Good job. Awesome. All right, go ahead and do the next one. Our last one. You send the exponent to the inside.
So if you have a J2 and a, say that you're doing a 2, so would it just be J4?
Yeah. Yeah. Remember, with exponents, I have a base of a negative. Keep it in parentheses.
Maybe you have a
No, because you're multiplying, remember?
Oh, I thought you said, I thought since it was.
No, if you're sending it inside, you're multiplying. So K doesn't have an exponent. Well, yes, it does have one.
So it would be
Huh? Yeah, so it's just K. Yeah, you got it right.
Would it be
Negative 3 squared. Put parentheses. Put that negative 3 in parentheses because it's a whole negative 3 that's
and then
being raised to a power.
So that's J4. J4. K times 3. Go.
But it's
K
negative 3 squared.
That's what I said to
What is the new one? Negative 3.
What is square root?
And then,
It times itself. Negative.
3 squared.
That's why it's more.
And then J,
All right, so let me remind you, anytime there's a negative that's being raised to a power, those are your tricky problems. So you've got to keep them in parentheses. So when I send this squared in, I've got to keep that negative 3 in parentheses. Because negative 3 squared in parentheses is different from just negative 3 squared. Then J, 4, K, 6. Then 2 to the third power, J to the sixth power, K to the third power. So the reason why this is tricky, because I'll show you what happens in the calculator. Negative 3 squared. But if I put it in parentheses, it changes the sign. That's why if you have a negative term being raised to a power, put it in parentheses. Because you'll get the wrong answer if you don't. You'll get a positive instead of negative, negative versus positive, whatever. So this is 9 times, let's go ahead and do the 2 to the third, 8. J4, J6, J10, because you're adding them. And then K6 6, K3, make K9. So then 9 times 8, 72, J10, K9. So your assignment is on Delta Math. You do have to show your work this time. Yes, you have 10 problems on Delta Math. So y'all can go ahead and get started. Oh, glue this in your journal.